In 2019, Metrolinx released the final version of their region-wide wayfinding overhaul, called the Wayfinding Design Standard. This 300-page document outlines everything from color values for distinguishing bus routes, to the spacing and layout of elements of every type of station sign imaginable, to a standard accessible font, Clearview ADA, to renaming black and white, RGB 000 and RGB 255, 255, 255, to system black and system white, along with some pretty funny diagrams if taken out of context. As cynical as I might be appearing with it, it is a really good and much needed improvement to transit in the GTHA, to bring it up to the navigability standard on par with many international systems. Because as it stands, we have about 10 different agencies for the GTHA, and all have different wayfinding systems, and it can be kind of confusing. So, 4 years after the final version was published, where is it? Really only about 10 places, and all of them are Metrolinx properties. But today I'm going to go to all the ones I know of and show off what the standard looks like in the real world. Already approaching our first stop, you can see the first sign of the new wayfinding, just a little bit out. This one kind of looks like the old one, except with the old Go wayfinding, this would be green, it wouldn't be black. This is an example of system black and system white, aka black and white. Here we're at the temporary walkway of, Ontario line construction, yay that. So these are some temporary signs. You'll see that the box around the platform number is kind of a big thing in this. As well, you can see an example of Clearview ADA font, which apparently is the font that is the easiest to read by the most people. You can see this walkway icon for streetcars, and then of course for GO trains. A bunch of different ones. There's a ton of icons in the document. Pretty sure Exhibition got the wayfinding makeover before they released the final version, so some of the stuff in this station isn't as consistent. Like this, I don't think that's consistent with the standard. But another thing I want to talk about is Toronto's, I guess, pedestrian wayfinding, because it has, I can't see it there, but if I kind of see the TS Circle logo, that's kind of the main part of this wayfinding standard redesign, but also Toronto's using kind of the same thing, except for their pedestrian wayfinding, so that might cause confusion, maybe. And of course we have the main platform station sign there. Kind of boring, but it does its job very well. And the platform signs all. And of course, TTC hasn't taken to this standard yet, obviously. This is the normal TTC wayfinding, in stark contrast to the standard Metrolinx one. Just to the entrance of the streetcar loop here. I will point out that the standard does include provisions for train departure boards, but GO trains doesn't implement those at its stations. So this is still the old one. And with this sign in particular, there's actually provisions for what order the arrow should go on signs. So it's like up, down, and like the left diagonal directions take priority over the right facing directions. So it's not really showed well on here, but there'll be other signs, maybe at one of our next destinations. I don't think there's anything about like Presto readers in there, but they are keeping a consistent style with them, with the system black and system white. It's still so funny to me. On to our next destination. We'll come back for this. Pickering. Here's the bit of it here. It's still mixed in with the old wayfinding, like right there, and there was also some platform signs elsewhere, but there's a bunch of the new wayfinding. This was the trial station for the new wayfinding. So again, it was set before 2019, so it's not going to be up to the standard in the book, but it's close. Here's another example of it. You can see more elements as well. We have a bus terminal, so we have bus icons as well as bus platforms being lettered. There's parking icons, a lot of cool stuff. And coming down into the underpass, we see a bunch of cool stuff. There's a line diagram, more platform signs, line diagrams over there, and a bit of a smaller type general sign there with the same stuff we saw on the platform, and elevator sign. Here's first example of a map. Has a little eye icon there. That's standard for this type of wayfinding for maps and information and stuff. You can see here the colors for the different bus routes I was talking about in the intro. That's exhibited here. Some agencies already do this in the maps, but this is supposed to become standard for everything. And it tells you what buses go in what terminals. And down here we have Metrolinx, which is Metrolinx's transit app that they're advertising on all the maps. Of course, we still have a bit of the old wayfinding extent, although I believe that's still Clearview ADA with the numbers. But over here we have an example of a bus post or a bus stop. The letters actually point to different bus terminals, not platforms. Platforms are still numbered, but the terminal, if it has there's different terminals, there's a letter in front of it. So again, you can see the system black and white, and the Metrolinx link there, as well as the route numbers. So a thing with this new wayfinding is it's trying not to cater to any specific system because there are a bunch of systems. So what it's doing is it's putting the agency in less of a prominent place. So you can see if this was like a regular Durham transit stop, it'd be like the logo would be pretty prominent, but here it's not very prominent, and that's for like multi-agency stops, which I don't know if there are any right now. But say if TTC also stopped here, there would be Durham transit routes on this section, then there'll be a little bit down here with the TTC logo and the TTC routes that served here. And here's some more maps. This is an outside map thing. And actually, I think this logo is a prototype for the T logo that would come in the later standard. Because if we look over here, say a station name sign, and according to the document, the T logo should be in that place. So I think that's just a prototype T logo, or they called it like the system identifier or something like that. Of course, more of the bus stops here, they look the same. And this actually showcases two of the map types. We have regional bus connection map and also what's nearby map, which is Pickering Station. It's not going to be much. There's the far one here. But yeah, if this was a place like Exhibition, there would be Liberty Village over here, and then down here in the Exhibition grounds would show more stuff. And there's the 5-minute walk circle. You know, I said these were all the same, but here we can see a route diagram. Actually, this one's for GO Transit buses, not Durham Region Transit buses. But here's a route diagram for all the routes that stop at here. We've got Metrolinx again, and actually here's, you I don't know if it shows up on video, but there's Braille here. That's also in the standard. But yeah, different colors for different routes, just to distinguish them a bit easier. Of course, all the icons that are in the standard. And there's like I said earlier, there's two bus terminals at the station, A and B. This is the bridge that goes to B, and then the sign pointing to bus terminal B, as well as parking and other stuff, and of course the train platform signs here. Also, I don't know if the other one showed it, but for the Durham region stops, there's a schedule here, and there are different route maps for bus stops that define whether or not it has a schedule or not. So there's a standard for with a schedule and a standard for without a schedule. You get a better look at the schedule there. Yeah. Let's actually get a closer look at these route diagrams. So we have the platform that the line serves and the name of the line, and then we have connecting lines like different GO lines and TTC lines, national trains, not defining whether or what system it is, just for ease of use, because somebody might not know what VIA means, as well as regional trains. This is all defined in the document. And actually, in the final version, this is the normal TTC icon for line 2, but in the final version of the document, it defines slightly different but newer icons for all rapid transit in the region, and it's pretty much just for line 2 it would be the same green but with a Clearview ADA font number 2, and this is the icon for Metro. And of course, the UR here for Pickering. And directions, which are always good. I think directions are kind of understated in maps, but or line diagrams, but they're really useful for people who've never been here, which is what this new standard is kind of catering towards. On to our next stop. So I just got on the train to our next destination. I didn't even know this, but they've redone all of the GO system maps to be in line with the standard. So you can see how it's kind of vague. It just says train system map. Hold on. But you can see how it's kind of vague, and that's keeping with the standard, because people who are new to Toronto might not know what GO Transit is. But if you just say train system map, and really I think it should be regional train system map, but sure, then people instantly know that, oh yeah, this is the train system map, because that's what it is. But other elements, you have the compass, which might be defined, I can't remember, and then you have vague titles like regional trains, going up express, and subway connection, and national trains. And then you have the route identifiers. They're called something else, but these have been standardized now. There's actually one way of standardizing. There's multiple. The other way is just with like letters. So like Lakeshore East is line A, and then Stouffville's line B, and so on. They haven't done that yet for this, but they might in the future. And then of course you have the icons like for airport and subway connection. And yeah, I think these are a lot better than the old maps that they had. This is Guildwood Station. Guildwood doesn't have the new wayfinding, but I think that's Clearview AV on the platform number signs. And I think it also may be on the station platform name signs.
No. Right beside
Union Station, and right as we get out, an example right there. You can see one of these big direction signs in Union Station. You got a lot of things. You got the vagueness of the services, trains to Pearson meeting the Up Express. Somebody might not know that Up Express means airport train, so trains to Trains to airport might actually be better label for it, but whatever. And we got walking taxis, and then TTC services, again with just the regular TTC Line 1 icon. But maybe they'll improve that later. Wayfinding is pretty easy to change. And then local buses like it's the 19 bay now, and then exit icon to Bay Street. And then on the staircases to each platform, you got the standard platform numbers and the square sign, along with the train icon and directions. And of course, for the Union Station food court, got directions for that. I think Union might be the most up to date with the current standard, because I think it might have been the latest too. It seems that way anyway. There's a lot of stuff here that seems closer to the final version, like the agency logos being like that. Here's all of the line diagrams for all of the lines that come to Union Station, which is all of them. Yeah, so this is, and they're not using letters, but regional trains from Union Station, again being vague with the agency. And even just like the station map, it's not really trying to follow the design standards, because I think these are just managed by Union Station as a station. But you can see elements like that's the information icon that we saw at Pickering, and these are all the icons from the document, and it does look a little bit like maps in the document, just not completely. And in the main section of Union Station, like it's where TTC entrances. I don't think these are any new signs. I think these are just the regular signs that Union had before. But there's so many signs at Union Station that I'm just not gonna be able to film them all. But I think you got a taste of the work that they're doing at Union Station for wayfinding. Anyway, on to our next destination. Dundas West, or bluer if you're on the Kitchener line or Up Express, which you can already see the new wayfinding. I think it might only be on the Up Express platform, but yeah, that's just the regular bluer sign. I think that's actually all the Up Express stations have this kind of sign, which the font's right, but there's not any of the other features, mostly because this is 2015. And when you walk in, you can see all of these maps, which first, the compliant subway map as well. It has the GO train lines on it, but this is what the subway map would look like. And also, I'm pretty sure there's still just TTC icons, but the rest of it's pretty good. And also you got the combined station and bus map and the 5-minute walk circle. And I'm pretty sure that this is just the normal wayfinding. I'm pretty sure that the new wayfinding is isolated to the Up Express platforms and the concourse as well. More maps over there. Although it is on the elevator. Scratch that, it's just the normal wayfinding on this platform, but there is the right font. But it is on the floor decals as well. Anyway, on to our next destination. I'm skipping Weston because it looks the same as Bloor. Pearson Airport. Which, right off the bat, I saw this. It's another one of these line diagrams. This time, train to cities are at the airport. And all the stuff that we saw at Pickering as well. I think it's way more important at the airport than anywhere else in the city to have wayfinding that everyone can understand, or most people can understand, just because, you know, global hub. And I was wrong, because there's a subway map here with the GO train lines. I guess they're at all the Up Express stations. But I really like this sign, Transit in the Region. It shows all of the different regional transit operators. And I think that's really good for somebody just arriving in Toronto. It even shows Milton Transit. Nobody takes that. Although this one does have the old Presto readers, all of them. These are now gone. None of them look like this anymore, but the map's probably pretty old, so I'll cut them some slack for that. There's a lot of wayfinding that looks like that. I don't think that's part of the standard, but it still says, well, that's in French, but it says Trains to City. And the old Upper Express logo, which they oversimplified it, but whatever. I think the old one looks better. Now you just have the regular airport wayfinding. But there was a little bit of it in the station. Anyway, on to our next destination. I don't know if this is like official Metrolinx, but we got like food wayfinding and up all of the terminals for the buses, as well as another one of these cool maps and how to buy fares. Again, not sure if all of this is official Metrolinx, but looks like it. A quick note about all of these non-standard signs is that Metrolinx created a lot of icons, such as the food and drink icon, probably to be used in a lot of things, but one of the uses could be these custom signs that would be specific to like one place that wouldn't really benefit from being defined in the standard. Of course, the layout of the signs is defined, but the use case for this sign is really niche. So it wouldn't be defined in the standard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Eglinton, or more specifically, Eglinton and Weston Road to the future. Hold on, where's the name? Montana Station, in which they've already started incorporating the non-existent LRT into one of their neighborhood icons. And if we just walk under this underpass above the Kitchener line, we see our very first glimpse in the field of the network identifier. I think this is the first place that it is in Toronto. I think they actually put this on recently, because if you look inside the station, you can see just the normal TTC wayfinding. Outside the station, it kind of looks like it's conforming. I'm pretty sure it's conforming, but yeah, I think this is kind of like a last minute decision to put this on. And I don't know if they're on any of the other stations, but they might be. But I'm not gonna go out there. However, if you look inside the station, this track header strip, I think is focus. I saw it for a minute. I think that's conforming. But yeah, that seems to be it. On the surface stops out east, I think they're conforming a little bit more, just because they have standard icons. But it's a little bit the same. But I'm not gonna go out there because you've seen all of that stuff before at the places we've been. It looks pretty much the same as to like Union or whatever. But anyway, on to our next destination.
91.
Finch West, which is the eastern terminus of the Finch West LRT. And the difference with this LRT is they started later in 2019, so they're actually putting a regional indicator on everything. It's still pretty in construction though. I don't think there's any way I can actually see inside, but I'd imagine they're putting in the way more up-to-date version of all the wayfinding in there, along with all the other stops, which I don't think they've built any on the surface portion of the route yet. Maybe like in the roughed-in stages, but definitely not with any wayfinding yet.
And there's one more place where this new wayfinding is, and that's at, I'm pretty sure, all of the Go bus stops. I didn't record any audio for this just because it's such a short clip and it's not really interesting, but this just shows that on at least the Go bus stops that we have our first example of what this new wayfinding can look like at a bus stop just on the side of a road, not even like at a big station or anything, just a regular old small bus stop. One final note, I wanted to highlight this part because I think it's really important for the adoption of this standard. This is the bus stop finial. And it's a little piece of, I guess, plastic that can go on top of a bus stop pole, and the existing bus stop sign can go underneath it. A little piece of plastic is really easy to put on top of bus stops, and there are a lot of bus stops in the GTHA. So if every bus stop received this, that would be a huge part of the network becoming compliant with this standard. Because this is a compliant bus stop, it is in the standard, and that might push agencies to adopt the standard for the rest of their wayfinding.
So those are all of the places that I know of that currently have wayfinding consistent or kind of consistent with the standard. If you know of any more, leave a comment because I would love to know where. This redesign is a really great thing because it unifies the look of the signs across the region, which makes designing for the region more efficient, and particularly with the standard that Metrolinx has designed, more people who haven't ever been to Toronto can navigate around easier because of the lack of any system names and a more intuitive design elements and everything, as well as the introduction of a standard network identifier which can point anyone in the region to transit, regardless of the part of the region that they're in. I've talked a lot about signs in this video, but the standard defines a lot more than just signs. Stuff like sign and map placement, how things should be communicated, and a ton more. And if you've stayed to the end of a video about wayfinding, I highly recommend checking it out. There's a link in the description. Just keep in mind it's a 300-page PDF before you complain about lagging your computer.